I remember my first ever time on an aeroplane. I was 22 and it was in 1985. My mother had just got a letter from her mother in Jamaica asking to see her grandchildren. So she decided to send me and my older sister to travel to Jamaica from London to see her mother, our grandmother, and I was just so shocked and happy at the same time that I was getting this opportunity to see my grandmother, because I had three other sisters as well, and so they saw us off. I remember packing my suitcase actually, and we bought all new clothes. I bought new shorts, colourful shorts and t-shirts, and a nice yellow swimming costume with a tropical parrot on it, a bright yellow one, and everything packed in my suitcase was brand new. It was all so exciting for me. I'd never been abroad on a plane before, so this was really exciting for me. So my suitcase was packed, and I put mothballs into my suitcase, and I remember I did that because when my grandma, my dad's mother, came a few years before from America to visit us, when she opened her suitcase, it smelt of mothballs. So I did the same thing to make it feel like, yeah, I'm going abroad, for the first time. And anyway, so my family came to see us off to at the airport, and I said bye to them, and it was so sad saying bye to them. And we checked in, me and my sister checked in, and the whole thing was such a new experience for me. And I felt like the people queuing behind me would have known that I was a newbie to the whole experience of being on a plane going abroad for the first time. And then we got on the plane, and the stewardess asked for my ticket and told me where I'd be sitting, and I went to my seat with my sister. And my sister was kind enough to give me the window seat because I'd never been on a plane before, where she had, going to Germany. And I remember looking out the window, and oh, I thought, wow, when that plane lifted off, the butterflies that I had in my stomach was like, wow, I felt a sense of nervousness and excitement and apprehension at the same time, but it was a beautiful experience, and I could see all the clouds, and I looked down at all the buildings on the ground, and saw, as the plane ascended more and more, I could see the buildings just getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I thought, wow, what a beautiful experience. Anyway, and it was a 9-hour flight or something like that from London to Jamaica. And when the flight was lovely, when we got to the end of it and were coming off the plane, I remember the doors of the plane opening and us getting off, and this intense heat just hit my face, and I was thinking, oh my God, what is this? What is this? Why is it so hot? It was like being in front of an oven. And we got off the plane, walked down the steps, and I realized it was the temperature and the weather condition in Jamaica. That's how hot it was. Anyway, so we collected our bags, and we got a cab to my maternal grandmother's home, which was in St. Mary in the country. And we were greeted with tons of family, cousins, children, my grandmother, and it was such a lovely, lovely, beautiful experience, to be greeted by family that I'd never seen before, ever, ever, ever. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, was such a beautiful woman. She reminded me so much of my mum, and we'd sit outside at night time, in the night evenings, and talk and laugh with her and the kids and my cousins, and have jokes. And I remember these beautiful fireflies just hovering in the air, just hovering everywhere. And they were just so beautiful to watch, because in the country you didn't have any street lamps, and they were your street lamps. They just lit up the darkness so beautifully, and they were just so beautiful to watch. And we spent a few days there, me and my sister, and then from there we moved on to Kingston, where my mother's younger brother was, and coming there was just more city like, and everyone was just so vibrant and so beautiful and so polite. They didn't know you, but yet they would say good morning to you and good afternoon and good evening, and they were just so laid back. I remember them just like swinging slowly in the heat as they walked, due to the heat being hot, and they knew instantly that we didn't come from Jamaica. We were foreigners, because we were walking so fast, and my mother's brother's partner, and they both had two kids, would make us breakfast, and the food was glorious. You would have things like saltfish, ackee and saltfish, and fried toast, and and the smell was gorgeous. And I remember after having breakfast, we would go out, and all these, smells were beautiful. And then, I'd be confronted with cockroaches, massive cockroaches. They were like this big, you know and they'd be crawling on the tables while we were eating breakfast. And I remember Jennifer saying, my uncle's partner saying, "Oh, don't worry about them, they're always here." And I was just scared of them, and it was almost like they knew I was scared of them. When we went outside the house, it was almost like they deliberately pestered me and attacked me, knowing that I was scared of them. And I remember seeing a nice baby lizard about that small just crawling up a tree, and I'd be thinking, I said to my sister, I want to take it home for a pet. Obviously I couldn't, but I really wanted to take it home as a pet. So anyway, we spent a few days there, and then we went to see my dad's dad, my granddad Albert, in St Anne's. And wow, he was a stern looking man, but it was such a lovely, lovely soul. And I met my dad's sister as well, and her cooking was phenomenal as well. I thought my grandma's cooking was phenomenal, and my mum's cooking was phenomenal. And then I came across her, but I still realize to this day, I would put my mum's and her mum's cooking to be the best cooking of all. But the thing that grabbed me was the fact that my grandma, my mum's mum, fostered so many children and looked after them. Because I remember when I was younger, I wanted to become a teacher as well as become an actor. But when I saw the way she looked after her children that she fostered, and later on in life, after coming back from Jamaica, how my mum went into fostering, I could understand where my mum was coming from, getting into fostering, because she got it from her mum. And I later got it from my mum and my grandma, and I fostered a child that my mum looked after, who me and my husband now consider to be our daughter. She is our daughter, although not biological, but she's our daughter. But anyway, when we left Grandad in St Anne's, we went back to Kingston, and from there we went on to Montego Bay, and really enjoyed Montego Bay because it was such a tourist area. And then from there we went to Ocho Rios, and that was where you had all the nice waterfalls and the sounds of the water falling, and the water was so warm and beautiful. And then from there we went to so many other different sites in Jamaica, and then back to Kingston. And I was so grieving to go back to my grandma, my mum's mum, in St Mary, the country area, and my sister didn't want to go back, but I wanted to go back. So my uncle Norman took me back, and I stayed for another couple of days and spent a couple of days with her, and it was beautiful just being back with her. She was such a beautiful woman, and I think I wanted to be with her because she reminded me so much of my own mum, in her personality and temperament and everything else, and I was really glad that I was able to go back without my sister, to be with her for another couple of days before going back, because I only had 4 weeks holiday, whereas my sister had 6 weeks holiday. And I was getting homesick about the third week of my 4th week holiday. And then when the third week came, I felt, oh no, I didn't want to go back home. I wanted to stay longer, knowing that I only had a week left. And but then I had to go, and my sister saw me to the airport with my, Uncle Norman, and I felt a lot more confident getting on the plane on my own and traveling back to London. And it was great, but it was sad leaving my family that I'd met for the first time in Jamaica. But it was a happy moment at the same time, knowing that I'd be reunited with my family back in London. And when I got back to London, it was like um, strange because official officers escorted me off, saying that they needed to search me. So they took me off to a room and they searched me. I ended up being strip searched. I'd never been through anything like that before. And they thought, obviously, because I was coming from Jamaica, that I might have brought back drugs. And I brought home with me in my suitcase wooden ornaments for my mom and my sisters and stuff like that. And they took them out of my suitcase and were shaking them like this, thinking, what's in there, you know? And I thought, I said to them, why are you shaking them? And they said, you know, you could have some drugs on you. So they wanted to break them open. I said, no, 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 don't do that. That's for my mom and my sisters. And after they'd strip searched me and found that I was clear, they decided against not doing that. And then I got dressed and they escorted me back outside, and I was able to meet my family who had come to the airport in London, to Heathrow Airport, to meet me. And my twin sister, who I missed desperately in the 4 weeks that I was in Jamaica, she said to me after that they hadn't recognized me at all because I'd gotten so dark in my skin tone with the suntan and everything else. And all they could see was me smiling like this, and all they could see was my teeth. And they hadn't recognized me. But it was so good to be back home in London from Jamaica, to be with my family. But at the same time, it was so good to have met a family on my mum's side and my dad's side that I'd never known. And that was 1985. It's now 2021. And in all that time, I've never been able to go back to Jamaica, had the opportunity to go back to Jamaica to see my family. And since then, anyway, within that period of time, my mum's mum, my grandma, passed away, and my dad's dad, my granddad Albert, passed away, and a few of their cousins had passed away that I'd met as well. But I'm only glad that I was able to meet them, yeah, before they passed away. And it's a holiday and first time experience on the plane traveling abroad that I would I could never forget. Once in a lifetime experience. Yeah.